Your words shape vibration and destiny, and your body listens. From the earliest times, sages sensed what modern science is only now beginning to confirm. Every cell in your body responds to your thoughts and reacts, even more deeply to the sacred language of prayer. This text is not merely an intellectual study, it is an activation of the inner self inspired by the revolutionary principles of Charles Francis Haanel, a pioneer in understanding the power of the subconscious mind. Within these pages you will rediscover a long-forgotten truth. Prayer is not about begging, it is biological programming. Your blood, your organs, your cells, they respond and obey. Through these words you will be guided into a heightened state of awareness where your voice becomes medicine and your thoughts shape the unseen structure of your being. You will learn how conscious, intentional prayer combined with faith can reprogram inherited patterns, support healing, and align your body with the divine mind. Prepare to enter the most sacred sanctuary, your own biology transformed into a temple. Here, faith is precise rather than blind. Every cell becomes a devoted follower, and you stand as both creator and creation. The transformation begins now. Welcome to Obedient Cells, the prayer that shapes your blood. This book is written for you. Yes, for you who have felt that your body holds secrets you have not yet learned to understand. For you who have sensed, even without full clarity, that every organ listens. Every cell responds, and every tissue resonates with a profound, invisible language. You have searched for health, but more than that, you have searched for understanding. Healing alone is not enough. You want to know why illness appeared, which principle was overlooked, and which truth was forgotten. Beyond this, you long to awaken the power that still belongs to you, resting quietly in your bones, waiting in the light of your thoughts. The purpose of this book is not to teach another technique or offer empty formulas. It is to guide you step by step to recognize that within you exists a guiding center, an organizing consciousness that requires no intermediaries, rituals, or permission from any authority. Your mind can communicate with your glands. Your faith can influence your lymphocytes. Your words can direct your endocrine system. This is not magic, it is law, and wherever there is law, there is potential. This book is for those who understand that health cannot be separated from spiritual life, that financial stability is connected to physical balance, and that DNA is not a fixed sentence, but an instrument waiting for the right melody. Your body is not a prison, it is an ally. Your symptoms are not punishments, they are messages. And the voice capable of reorganizing everything already lives within you. By the end of this book, you will not be the same. You will learn to see your organs as allies, to communicate with your tissues as you would with close companions, and to bless your scars as meaningful gateways. Above all, you will remember that every cell in your body awaits your word as a sacred decree. You will learn to speak with authority, love, and truth. The inner language of your being, illuminated by the teachings of Charles Francis Haanel. If you find value in this content, please consider subscribing and liking the video to support our channel. Thank you for encouraging us to create more meaningful content. Are you ready to transform your life? Chapter 1 begins with a timeless statement. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John 1:1. These words, echoing from the dawn of sacred history, are not merely poetic symbols. They describe the literal creative principle active within every cell of your body. Everything that exists has been formed, sustained, and set in motion by a fundamental vibration, and that vibration is the Word. The atom, the basic unit of matter, is simply energy vibrating at a specific frequency. What determines that frequency is not chance but intention? A mental command, an affirmation, a consciously spoken word. Your body is not a passive collection of biological processes. It is a living chorus of billions of cells, each sensitive to the vibrational quality of your thoughts. Every word you speak, aloud or silently, carries an electromagnetic charge that is detected by the body's bioelectric fields and transmitted to the nucleus of your cells, where DNA resides. The double helix of DNA, identified by Watson and Crick in 1953, is more than a chemical structure. It represents a spiraled record of mental instructions written in the subtle language of belief. DNA is a form of sacred writing. Each sequence acts like a sentence, each strand like a phrase. When you repeat an affirmation with faith, you are writing into your genome, updating your biology with new instructions for life. Modern science supports the idea that words influence matter. Experiments in quantum physics, including studies conducted in Soviet laboratories during the 1950s, suggested that atoms can reorganize in response to induced mental patterns. Particles respond to intention. Matter follows thought. Mind becomes form. Understand this clearly: your body is always listening to your mind. Illness is not a punishment or an accident. It is a biological response to distorted mental instructions. Every cell in your liver, skin, and heart receives messages through words and reacts chemically to them. If you tell your body it is weak or sick, it will respond accordingly. If you affirm that it is strong, healthy, and renewed by the infinite power of life, it will begin to restore balance. When you affirm, "I am in perfect health," you are not merely expressing a hope. You are directing your cells to activate specific patterns of proteins, enzymes, hormones, and neurotransmitters that support health and renewal. The phrase, "I am," functions like a switch, activating the corresponding genetic records. Just as a sculptor shapes stone with a chisel, you shape your physical reality through your words. Your mouth is a sacred laboratory. Every word you speak programs your immune system, digestive system, and nervous system. Words of hatred contaminate the blood, while words of love purify it. That is why Proverbs states, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." Proverbs 18:21. Take a moment to observe your daily speech. Do you say, "I'm tired, I'm getting sick," or "I can't take this anymore"? When you do, you activate DNA patterns linked to fatigue, decline, and inflammation. But when you declare, "Every cell of my body vibrates with the divine energy of life," you introduce codes of renewal and restoration. Remember, the subconscious mind cannot distinguish between real or imagined, joking or serious. Every word spoken with emotion is registered as a command. This is why speaking with faith is far more effective than simply thinking positively. Spoken words act directly on the quantum field that organizes your body, directing your biology from within. Consider this example. A man once told me, "I'm tired of this knee, it's useless." He had already undergone 2 surgeries with no improvement. I told him, "You don't need another operation. You need a prayer. Stop condemning that knee and start blessing it." I instructed him to repeat, "My knee is the strong axis of my walk. Every cell responds to the perfect rhythm of the divine spirit." 3 weeks later, the inflammation was gone. Was this a miracle? No, it was mental law. Every cell has the ability to listen, not through physical ears, but through vibration. Each responds to words infused with intention, emotion, and belief. The body does not respond to external sound, but to the inner voice. Simply saying, "I want to be healthy," is not sufficient. You must speak with spiritual authority and full conviction. As Jesus said, "Whoever says to this mountain, 'Be removed and cast into the sea,' and does not doubt in his heart, it shall be done." Mark 11:23. This is not symbolic language. It is a clear instruction for reorganizing your biology. Begin today by practicing conscious cellular language. Here is your first formula, the master affirmation for today: "Every cell of my body obeys the divine word I speak. I decree health, harmony, and abundant life in every tissue, organ, and system. The word of God lives in me and renews my entire being." Repeat this affirmation upon waking and before sleep. Speak it calmly and with authority, allowing it to enter your mind like a seed that will grow in time. Do not be concerned with immediate results. Your responsibility is to plant, nourish, and sustain with care. The harvest will come according to law. Always remember, your word is law to your mind, and your mind is the unseen architect of your body. Use your words with wisdom and respect. Speak to yourself as you would to loyal workers. They build exactly what you instruct. When you speak with love, they respond accordingly, producing what may appear as miracles. In the next chapter, we will explore the hidden library within your structure. DNA is the living archive of the subconscious. You will discover that you inherit not only genes, but also dormant possibilities, waiting for the command of your word to awaken. Chapter 2. DNA, the hidden library of the subconscious. Within every cell of your body exists a structure so precise and deeply coded that its presence challenges the idea that chance alone drives life. This structure is DNA. It contains not only the instructions needed to build your physical form, but also a complete record of your spiritual, mental, and emotional history. DNA is not simply a chain of nucleotides. It is a living library, a multidimensional archive that responds to the voice of your subconscious and the images formed by your imagination. Modern science has only begun to explore its outer layers. What instruments cannot yet detect? The conscious mind can access. DNA functions like a holographic archive, meaning each part contains the whole. Every cell in your body holds complete access to the full information of your being. This access extends beyond the physical into your latent spiritual potential, your connection to the collective unconscious, and the non-material record of your life's purpose. In metaphysical understanding, this is often referred to as the Akashic Records, the vibrational repository of human experience, thought, and possibility. Your DNA serves as the biological receiver that tunes into this archive. It is not a closed system limited by heredity, but a living, adaptable structure that responds to the language of focused thought. Imagination is the key that unlocks this code. Picture a vast library where each shelf represents a genetic possibility, radiant health, extended vitality, creative ability, and deep intuition. If you never enter this library, it is as if these possibilities do not exist. But when you form a clear mental image charged with emotion, your subconscious activates the related genes, not by altering DNA as a scientist would, but by accessing the vibrational level where this code is organized. Thomas Troward wrote that imagination is the unseen matrix of form. Neville Goddard clearly taught that what you accept as true in your imagination becomes your lived experience. This is not surface-level self-control. It is a deep process of genetic activation through the mind. When the subconscious accepts an image as real, it directs your physiology to match that image. The body does not resist. It responds. To illustrate this principle, consider a documented case. Nobel Prize, Fay-winning physician Dr. Alexis Carrel recorded instances of spontaneous healing that had no clear medical explanation. One well-known case involved a woman suffering from advanced bone tuberculosis who was admitted to a hospital. Observing physicians noted that after focused prayer and intense spiritual visualization, her damaged tissues began to regenerate. While careful not to make spiritual claims, Carrel documented the outcome. What external observers did not see was the internal shift that occurred. A change in her mental imagery. She envisioned herself healed, and that image impressed a new pattern upon her DNA. This points to an important truth. DNA is not fate. It is a program, and you are the one directing it. You do not need a laboratory to activate dormant capacities. You need conscious prayer, focused imagination, and steady repetition. Your subconscious mind acts as the operator, carrying out the instructions you consistently impress upon it. Below is a specific prayer intended to begin this activation process. Genetic activation prayer. The infinite spirit now activates within me all genetic patterns aligned with perfect health, lasting vitality, and full creative expression. My DNA responds to light. Each strand, each code, and each cell awakens to its highest function. I visualize my body as a perfect temple of the spirit, strong, balanced, and renewed. So it is, and so it shall be. This prayer should be spoken with full attention, ideally in a calm, relaxed state before sleep or upon waking. These moments place the mind near the theta state, where access to the subconscious is most direct. Repeat this practice for 21 consecutive days, treating it with care and respect as you would a sealed and meaningful text. Many ask whether a prayer can truly influence genetics. The answer is straightforward. Prayer is not a wish, it is a vibrational command. When spoken with faith and clear visualization, it creates an electromagnetic impression within the cellular field. Proteins, which regulate DNA expression, adjust their activity according to the biochemical environment, and that environment can be influenced by thought. Just as negative emotions can contribute to illness, clear and positive mental images can support healing. Do not lose sight of this principle. The cell responds to your inner state, but it understands only the language of certainty. Doubt weakens the signal, while belief strengthens and imprints it. Repetition acts like a chisel, forming new pathways within your genetic structure. When effort alone is insufficient, consistency becomes essential. Returning to the idea of the Akashic records, just as a medium is said to access past experiences, you can reach your own dormant potentials. There is no need to connect with external forces. You need only to align with your higher self. Your subconscious remains in constant connection with Source. When you pray using imagination, you are not creating something new. You are activating a possibility already recorded in your inner library. Later chapters will examine how this activation can extend to tissue renewal, illness prevention, and the release of advanced abilities. For now, understand this clearly. Your DNA is not complete. It waits for instruction if you do not provide direction. Other influences will, your fears, inherited beliefs, or external voices that shape you from the outside. But when you claim inner authority, your cells respond to the voice of the spirit. You begin reading a book sealed since birth, the living record of your health, capacity, and direction. The key is already in your hands. That key is imagination sustained by faith. Chapter 3. Organs that listen. Traditional medicine has long taught that the organs of the human body respond to chemical and electrical signals, contracting or expanding according to instructions from the central nervous system. While this explanation is useful, it remains incomplete because it leaves out a vital element: the vibrational aspect. Each organ also functions as a receiver of subtle frequencies, acting as a living antenna that absorbs not only biochemical signals but also messages from the mind, expressed through words, images, and emotions. Your body functions like an auditorium, and your thoughts serve as the conductor of the orchestra. This understanding aligns with an ancient principle preserved in Hermetic teachings: the principle of vibration. According to this principle, nothing is still, everything moves and vibrates. This is not symbolic language, but physical reality. Since organs are made of atoms and cells, they also vibrate. What is rarely emphasized is that each organ has its own resonant frequency, and this frequency can be influenced by human speech. In the early 20th century, thinkers within the New Thought movement began identifying specific relationships between words, emotions, and bodily organs. Charles Fillmore, founder of the Unity School of Christianity, suggested that every part of the body represents a spiritual idea. He associated the heart with love, the liver with anger, the lungs with freedom, and the kidneys with fear. This framework was not based on speculation alone, but on observation and metaphysical study. During the 1940s and 1950s, Soviet engineer Semyon Kurlian documented a notable phenomenon. Living tissues emit electromagnetic fields that change with emotional states. His high-frequency photography experiments showed that emotions, and therefore words, alter the bioresonance of organs. This provided scientific support for what spiritual traditions had long suggested. The body listens, however, not all organs respond to the same language. This leads to what can be described as a theory of specific response, which proposes that each organ recognizes a particular verbal frequency. When you speak a word, it is not only processed by the ears, it is transmitted inward through the body. If that word matches the resonant frequency of a specific organ, the organ responds. Much like a string vibrating in harmony. For example, a woman once came to my practice with persistent liver pain that had no clear medical cause. During conversation, she frequently said, "It fills me with rage, I can't digest this. It's tearing me apart inside." Her words reflected ongoing, suppressed anger. I recommended a simple daily practice, repeating the following affirmation each morning for 20 minutes. My liver is filled with peace, surrounded by forgiveness, and flows in divine harmony. Within 3 weeks, her symptoms resolved. This was not a miracle, but a directed process of vibrational adjustment. Just as the liver responds to peace, the heart aligns with love, the lungs with freedom, the thyroid with expression, the stomach with trust, and the kidneys with a sense of safety. Each system in the body receives what it needs as if it were a native language. If it does not get the proper signals, it suffers. When it receives the correct words, it expands, balances, and regenerates. This brings us to a simple yet effective practice. The organic mantra technique. This method involves selecting a mantra that matches the vibrational need of a specific organ and repeating it in a state of deep relaxation, tuning that organ to its optimal frequency. The technique is based on 3 key principles: repetition, emotion, and visualization. Here is a basic chart of correspondences. Fey heart, Fey mantra. Love, emotion, compassion, Fey liver, Fey mantra. Peace, emotion, forgiveness, Fey lungs. Fey mantra, freedom, emotion, trust, Fey kidneys. Fey mantra, safety, emotion, stability, Fey stomach. Fey mantra, confidence, emotion, faith in life's process. Fey thyroid, Fey mantra, expression, emotion, self-assertion. Fey intestines, Fey mantra, release, emotion, detachment. Fey brain, Fey mantra, light, emotion, clarity. Each morning upon waking, sit quietly. Choose the organ you wish to work with. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and begin repeating the corresponding mantra, either silently or softly. Visualize the organ bathed in gentle light, vibrating in perfect harmony. Let the word resonate within you, forming a new biological rhythm. Practice this for 10 minutes. With consistent practice, you may notice reduced pain, increased energy, and greater emotional clarity. This is not mere suggestion. You are communicating with your organs in their own language, reconnecting your awareness to the energy centers that govern your physiology. Your words, spoken with intention, act as a tuner, adjusting the strings of your body. This is scientific prayer, a word that vibrates with purpose. However, a caution is necessary. If you speak words of complaint, guilt, or resentment, you send toxic signals to your organs. They will respond, but in ways that are harmful. The heart cannot distinguish between insults directed at others or at itself. It interprets all harsh speech as a signal to react. That is why Proverbs states, "A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." Proverbs 17:22. Your body does not fall ill on its own. Illness arises when you unknowingly poison it with discordant words. Likewise, it can heal when provided with proper vibrational nourishment. That nourishment begins in your mouth with every word you consciously choose to speak. In the next chapter, we will examine how words, when supported by faith, can influence the body's chemistry, its hormones, enzymes, and neurotransmitters. You will see that the mind shapes not only form but function through an invisible alchemy known to the wise for centuries and now being rediscovered by science. Chapter 4. The chemistry of belief within you exists a hidden laboratory, more precise than any scientific facility and more powerful than the contents of any pharmacy. That laboratory is the mind, and its reactions are driven not by external chemicals, but by internal beliefs. Every thought held with conviction, every image embraced with faith, triggers a biochemical response in the body. Just as medicine can alter hormone levels, your faith can produce similar effects without pharmaceuticals. This is not spiritual rhetoric. It is a law demonstrated by science. In the 1950s, the Journal of the American Medical Association published studies on the placebo effect. Patients were given inert pills, but believed they were real treatments. The results were remarkable. While not universal, a significant number improved enough to challenge conventional understanding of the mind-body connection. How could a harmless substance reduce pain, lower inflammation, or even reverse severe symptoms? The answer: the body responded to belief, not the pill. When the mind was convinced healing was occurring, the body followed, producing internally what was needed. Hormones such as dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, and the regulation of cortisol and adrenaline responded to the chemistry of belief rather than the chemistry of the pill. This phenomenon, confirmed by hundreds of studies since, challenged the mechanistic view of the body as a machine and placed faith at the center of physiology. But this principle is not new. Jesus stated clearly, "Your faith has made you well." Mark 5:34. He did not attribute healing to his power or medicine, but to the patient's faith. Faith is not just a religious feeling. It is a mental force that changes the body's substance. It acts as an active agent, a vibrational command, that triggers the release of specific chemicals from the endocrine glands throughout the body. During my ministry at the Church of Divine Science in Los Angeles, I observed numerous cases where people achieved full recovery without conventional medical treatment, relying solely on mental and spiritual principles. One example involved a man with chronic hypertension who had tried multiple medications, all causing side effects. I taught him a simple affirmation to repeat 3 times daily. "My blood pressure is the perfect measure of divine balance within me. Each beat of my heart vibrates in harmony with the peace of God." Within 6 weeks, his blood pressure stabilized without drugs. How did this happen? Through an endocrine response triggered by sustained, repeated belief. The pituitary gland, thyroid, adrenal glands, and pancreas all respond to mental signals. If you believe you are under threat, the body releases cortisol and adrenaline. If you believe you are at peace, it releases oxytocin and endorphins. The endocrine system cannot distinguish between real or imagined states of threat or safety. It responds to internal images of well-being. From this, an important conclusion emerges. You can design your internal pharmacy. External drugs are not required to activate your immune system or vital energy. What you need are precise affirmations, charged with intention and repeated consistently. I call these high-voltage affirmations, phrases that do not merely express desire but issue commands for biochemical transformation from the center of the soul. Here are a few examples designed to balance the endocrine system, thyroid, metabolism, and expression. My words are clear, calm, and powerful. My thyroid vibrates in perfect rhythm with divine order. Adrenal glands, energy and stress, I am safe, protected and strong. My adrenal glands produce only what is needed in perfect peace. Pancreas, sugar balance and satisfaction. The sweetness of life flows through me. My pancreas responds to my joy and my body. finds balance. Fey pituitary gland system harmonizer. My whole body obeys the wisdom of the divine mind. Every cell acts in perfect symphony. These affirmations are not magic. They are neuro-instructions. Repeated with intention, they form new neural pathways, modify internal biochemistry, and retrain the body. You are not merely self-suggesting. You are issuing physiological commands from a higher level of consciousness. One striking case involved a woman with severe hormonal imbalance, extreme fatigue, insomnia, and anxiety. I asked her to record a simple affirmation in her own voice. The glandular system of my body is an instrument of balance and energy. Life flows through me in perfect rhythm. She listened to it every night before sleep. Within 2 months, her hormone levels normalized. The recording became her medicine. The body responds to the inner voice. Faith acts as the catalyst, and the spoken word serves as the activator. Do not wait until illness appears to use these tools. Begin today. Your pineal gland does not need an MRI. It needs words spoken from the center of your faith. Your immune system does not require expensive supplements. It needs thoughts of wholeness, words of life, and sustained images of vitality. Remember, the mind creates the mold, and the body pours the substance. That mold can produce illness or health, depending on the substance of your belief. In the next chapter, we will examine a crucial phase in regeneration, the nocturnal state. During sleep, when the conscious mind rests, the subconscious can act more freely. Repeated prayer before sleep becomes deep, silent, and effective medicine. Chapter 5. The Nocturnal Cellular Dialogue. There is a threshold between wakefulness and sleep where judgment is suspended. The doors of the subconscious open, and the mind becomes fertile soil for every mental seed planted in it. This threshold is called the hypnagogic state, and it is precisely here that the most powerful, transformative, and silently effective dialogue with yourself occurs. Most people waste this moment with worries, to-do lists, or replaying the day's mistakes. Those who understand mental law recognize that this instant is when health regeneration and physiological balance can be sown. Pioneering studies by Nathaniel Kleitman and William Dement, founders of modern sleep research, revealed that the human body moves through defined phases during rest, including REM cycles, brainwave patterns, and nocturnal hormone secretion. This demonstrates biological intelligence operating without conscious intervention. What traditional studies overlooked is that the fertile ground of sleep is highly influenced by prior suggestion. What you think before sleeping becomes a silent command for the subconscious to execute overnight. This is where Z programming applies. Brain waves in the Z state, ranging from 4 to 7 Hz, occur just before deep sleep. At this moment, the conscious mind's critical filter relaxes, and the subconscious accepts input without resistance. Every thought, image, or word in this state becomes a direct instruction to the body's inner workshop, activating the cells that never sleep. Sleep is not merely an escape from the day, it is entering a temple during sleep. The body performs cellular repair, liver detoxification, neurochemical reorganization, and tissue regeneration. If no clear directive is given before sleep, these processes follow old patterns. If, however, you provide clarity through prayer, affirmation, or visualization, your body receives new blueprints, precise instructions, and elevated frequencies. Psalm 91. One of the most powerful psalms in the Old Testament is not just a hymn of protection. It is a nocturnal mantra designed to allow the soul to sleep in absolute trust. You shall not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, for he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. This is not simply poetic. It is a vibrational formula. Repeating this psalm before sleep activates a field of psychophysiological safety. The parasympathetic nervous system is engaged. Cortisol levels decrease. The heart relaxes, and restorative sleep is promoted. Emil Quay, a pioneer of autosuggestion, taught that repeating simple phrases just before sleep is key to changing deeply rooted habits. His well-known affirmation, "Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better," when repeated in a relaxed state, reconfigures the nervous system and influences metabolism. This approach can be extended by tailoring such formulas to the specific needs of organs, tissues, and biological systems. I recommend a full nightly routine called the Nocturnal Cellular Dialogue, which has 3 steps: relaxation, repetition, and visualization. Practice it every night for 21 consecutive days and observe improvements not only in sleep but also in waking energy, digestion, mood, and even skin health. Step 1. Progressive relaxation. Lie down in silence, close your eyes, and slowly move awareness through your body from feet to head. As you focus on each area, mentally repeat, "I release, I rest, I surrender." This slows mental activity and allows entry into the Z state. Step 2. Gentle repetition. Choose a specific affirmation for the body area you want to regenerate. For example, for the immune system, "Every white cell in my body is an agent of light. My immune system responds with wisdom, strength, and precision." Repeat it 12 times softly or mentally without force, but with reverence. Step 3. Symbolic visualization. Imagine the targeted area of your body enveloped in warm, golden, pulsating light. A precise medical image is unnecessary. Simply feel the vibration of order and harmony. Visualize cells regenerating, tissues restoring, and the whole body resting in peace. Many ask, "If I fall asleep halfway through, does it still work?" The answer is yes. The subconscious never sleeps and actually prefers rest, so it can act without interference. In my pastoral experience, a woman suffering from chronic fatigue and severe sleep disorders achieved remarkable recovery following this routine. She repeated nightly, "The vital energy of the spirit flows through me while I sleep. My cells are nourished, my organs are restored. I sleep in peace and awaken in strength." 3 weeks later, she was sleeping deeply and waking naturally without stimulants. Never underestimate the power of simplicity. The body obeys clear directives, and the optimal time to give them is just before sleep. The conscious mind closes the day, but the subconscious opens the night. What is planted during sleep is harvested during the day. Just as you set an alarm to wake up, set an affirmation to reprogram your body. While you sleep, your soul communicates with your cells. Give it words of health, and they will know what to build. In the next chapter, we will examine a deeper concept, the memory of the body. Scars are not merely physical. Tissues retain the memory of old wounds. True healing requires rewriting that memory with new images, words, and faith. Chapter 6. Rewriting scars and tissue memory. Every wound leaves a mark, not only on the skin, muscles, or bones, but also in the subtle field of bodily consciousness that records every impact, sensation, and story. A scar is not just collagen sealing a physical injury, it is also an imprint in the tissue's memory, a vibrational archive retaining the emotions, thoughts, and context associated with trauma. Just as the mind remembers words and events, the body remembers cuts, fractures, burns, and tension. Time alone does not erase these memories. They can only be transformed through conscious reprogramming. Canadian neurosurgeon Wilder Penfield demonstrated that electrical stimulation of certain cortical areas evokes specific memories, not just visual, auditory, but also smells, tastes, and physical sensations. This shows that memory is embodied, distributed throughout the cells, especially those involved in healing. Fibroblasts, keratinocytes, myofibrils, and scars archive trauma. Tissue closes but develops different density and molecular organization. Collagen in scars is more rigid less vascularized, and less elastic than original tissue. Often the difference is also energetic. Where there is a scar, there is a frozen story, trapped emotion, and unconscious command to protect, avoid, or resist. If trauma involved fear, anger, or rejection, those emotions are recorded as well. Unless consciously rewritten, the body continues operating from the past. Endocrinologist Haanel, a pioneer in stress research, demonstrated that trauma affects the body not only with inflammation or pain, but also through hormonal reconfiguration. Sustained stress impairs healing, and chronic cortisol prevents proper tissue regeneration. In these cases, the wound heals physically but retains the memory of trauma, creating chronic distortions in the body's energetic field. That is why discomfort often persists at old surgical sites, even after the flesh has healed. This is where the conscious mind, focused prayer, and creative visualization become powerful tools for cellular reprogramming. When you pray not to request, but to command from spiritual truth, you impress a new frequency upon tissue. You communicate with the cellular matrix of collagen and the invisible architecture of the epithelium, directing vibrational reconfiguration. The age of the scar, months or years, is irrelevant. Once a cell receives a new pattern, it can reorganize, because every structure is alterable when its generating field is influenced. A real case illustrates this. A woman in my congregation had a severe burn on her forearm. Though the skin had closed, the area remained hardened, sensitive, and discolored with reddish-brown tone. Beyond the physical, she carried shame, fear of touch, and visceral rejection of that part of her body. I taught her a practice: gently place her fingers on the area while repeating, "This skin now obeys the perfect model of spirit. I bless this part of me. I accept it. I illuminate it. I renew it." She paired this with visualization, imagining white light descending like warm rain over the skin, penetrating deep layers and regenerating from within. The practice lasted 5 minutes each night. Within 20 days, the texture began to soften. At 6 weeks, pigmentation lightened. By 3 months, her skin was softer, and she felt genuine pride in the once rejected. The transformation was both physical and spiritual. This leads to a key principle. The skin is an organ of communication, not separation. It forms the boundary between self and world, holding a silent record of all experiences: caresses, blows, rejections, embraces, burns, surgeries. Each epithelial cell functions as a potential neuron, recording data and storing history. Every word you speak to your body can become an entry in its internal diary. It can erase, rewrite, and illuminate. Here is a specific prayer formula to reprogram scars. Whether recent or old tissue renewal prayer, every cell of this tissue now remembers the divine pattern. Every collagen fiber aligns with the perfection of spirit. The skin is new, soft, radiant, alive. I release all memory of pain. I allow love to imprint its form. I am restoration. Repeat this prayer while placing your hand over the area, not with anxiety or expectation, but with calm and serene faith practice. It in silence, like watering a plant, each night for 40 days. Observe without judgment and give thanks without demanding. The body responds more to consistency than to impulse. Remember, scars are not flaws. They are portals. Entry points where consciousness can heal, the past can be transformed, and the mind can bring light. You do not need plastic surgery to erase a wound. You need spiritual surgery, where words act as the scalpel and faith serves as the anesthetic. In the next chapter, we will explore the immune system, not as a passive shield, but as an intelligent army responding to the soul's direction. Your lymphocytes also obey inner commands, and when guided with wisdom, they can overcome viruses and any form of internal imbalance. Chapter 7. Immune System Fey Guardians of Truth. Within the vast and silent inner landscape of your body exists a constant guard that never sleeps. This force is organized, precise, and tirelessly patrols every cell, tissue, and particle with unwavering discipline. This army is the immune system. Yet it is not merely a mechanical collection of white blood cells responding to biochemical triggers. It is a form of cellular consciousness, a distributed intelligence, an extension of your subconscious mind, expressed through lymphocytes, macrophages, interferons, and antibodies. Most importantly, this system responds to your inner voice. Modern immunology, beginning with Frank Macfarlane Burnett's clonal selection theory in 1957, showed how the body distinguishes self from non-self using a network of molecular signals. Lymphocytes carry specific receptors to recognize antigens, and once activated, replicate to form a tailored army. What science has not fully acknowledged is how much this system is influenced by mental and emotional states. Studies often overlooked by mainstream research show that emotions such as joy, gratitude, and trust elevate levels of saliva immunoglobulin and blood lymphocytes, while fear, guilt, and despair weaken immune defenses. This means that sustained thoughts, mental images, and spoken words directly modulate immune activity. When this voice is conscious, focused, and deliberate, the immune system responds with precision. This gives physiological meaning to the biblical shield of faith. Ephesians 6:16 states, "Take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one." This is not mere metaphor, but a description of the vibrational field of protection activated when someone believes, affirms, visualizes, and prays from a deep level of being. Faith is not passive belief. It is an electromagnetic shield that strengthens immune responses, blocks harmful frequencies, and prevents the entry of pathogenic influences. Whether physical or mental, your immune system does not only fight bacteria and viruses, it also combats toxic thought patterns, inherited mental programs, and suppressed emotions that can manifest as chronic inflammation. When you declare with conviction, "I am protected by divine intelligence," every cell understands and fulfills its role perfectly. You activate a field that organizes your defenses, not through synthetic chemistry, but through vibrational language, because lymphocytes recognize the frequency of truth. Here is an example. A young man with mild immunodeficiency, constantly battling fatigue, frequent colds, and recurring infections, began practicing a formula I suggested. Each morning, he affirmed, "My defenses are legions of light. Each white blood cell is a warrior of love guided by divine wisdom. I am wrapped in a mantle of perfect protection." Alongside this, he practiced rhythmic breathing and visualized light surrounding his bone marrow. Within 3 months, his lab results improved, and he no longer felt vulnerable. Yoga Ananda taught that breathing is more than exchanging gases. It is a bridge between the physical and subtle. His method of rhythmic breathing, inhaling for 6 seconds, holding for 12, and exhaling for 6, not only oxygenates cells, but activates an energetic current that energizes the immune system. Combined with mental affirmations, you direct commands to the immune field, energizing lymphocytes, like loyal soldiers responding to intention. Practical immune, strengthening routine. Step 1. Rhythmic breathing. Perform a 6-phase 12-phasic cycle 5 times with eyes closed, focusing on the center of your chest. Visualize a white sphere of light expanding with each exhalation. Step 2. Directed affirmation. Repeat 3 times aloud or silently, "My immune system is the perfect expression of divine order." Each protective cell acts with wisdom, strength, and love. Step 3. Symbolic visualization. Imagine your lymphocytes as radiant lights flowing through your bloodstream, identifying and neutralizing all disharmony. Detailed anatomical knowledge is unnecessary. Simply sense order, cleansing, and activity. Many ask, "What if I'm already sick?" The practice still works, often more effectively, because the immune system can be reawakened from the center of consciousness. You are not fighting an enemy, you are activating a dormant legion awaiting your direction. Psalm 37:5 states, "Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act." This is not a call to passivity, but a guide to entrust your higher consciousness with activating your own inner forces. The Spirit does not operate alone. It works through your cells, and your cells respond to your voice. In the next chapter, we will examine the internal orchestra that coordinates these processes, the endocrine system. We will see how each gland produces a unique note and how your words can tune this choir to promote health, balance, and clarity. Chapter 8. The endocrine choir. If the human body were a symphony, the endocrine system would be its unseen string section, constantly adjusting the overall tone of life. Each gland is an instrument, each hormone a note, each secretion a vibrational pulse, harmonizing thought, emotion, and physiology. Just as an orchestra follows its conductor, these glands respond to thought, especially to rhythm, tone, and spoken words. Science recognizes the endocrine system as a regulator of vital functions: metabolism, growth, sleep, stress response, desire, lactation, and more. However, what is rarely taught in medical schools is that these glands possess specific resonance which can be activated or disrupted by verbal, auditory, and mental stimuli. Words do more than stir emotions. They shape and modulate internal rhythms. In 1958, Aaron Lerner first isolated melatonin, a hormone secreted by the pineal gland. His work showed that this small structure at the center of the brain regulates sleep, wake cycles, and responds directly to light and darkness. Ancient traditions, however, teach that the pineal is more than a biological clock. It is the spiritual eye, the gland of intuition, inner time, and access to subtle dimensions. As such, it responds to sacred frequencies like harmonic chanting, sustained tones, and words spoken with clear intention. Each endocrine gland has a specific frequency word. The pineal responds to light, the pituitary to order, the thyroid to expression, and the adrenals to peace. When these words are repeated in a steady rhythm, paired with breath and visualization, they influence the central nervous system and bring profound harmony to the body's internal chemistry. In ancient liturgical practices, particularly Gregorian chant, monks intoned phrases in sustained rhythm for hours. The goal was not musical beauty but physiological effect. The resonance of prolonged, unaccompanied notes created cardiac coherence, improved cerebral oxygenation, and balanced endocrine function. The human voice, used consciously and rhythmically, becomes a form of medicine, not through magic, but through vibration. Imagine your endocrine system as a choir. The pineal is the soprano, the pituitary, the alto, the thyroid, the mezzo-soprano, and the adrenals, the bass. Each gland has its own note, frequency, and function. Stress, repetitive thoughts, or suppressed emotions can throw one out of tune, disrupting overall harmony. As a conscious conductor, you can restore balance through rhythmic auto-suggestion. This involves repeating a specific phrase to a steady rhythm, using a metronome, your breath, or gentle tapping to induce focus and coherence. Within minutes, the body stabilizes, heart rate slows, breathing deepens, and glands begin to secrete harmoniously. Here is a practical morning routine called the Endocrine Symphony, lasting 12 minutes and divided into 4 segments of 3 minutes each. Segment 1, pineal gland phi keyword, light. Sit in silence with eyes closed. Repeat slowly in a low voice. My pineal gland radiates divine light. I see with clarity. I rest in the wisdom of the Spirit. Visualize a white sphere of light at the center of your head. Segment 2. Pituitary gland. Phi keyword order. Repeat. My pituitary gland commands with perfect order. Every function in my body obeys divine balance. Visualize a violet point coordinating every system. Segment 3, thyroid gland. Fey keyword. Expression repeat. My thyroid vibrates with freedom. I express my truth with love, confidence, and peace. Visualize a blue spiral at the base of your neck rotating in harmony. Segment 4, adrenal glands. Fey keyword. Peace. Repeat. My adrenal glands respond to the calm of the spirit. I act from inner peace. Visualize a warm red light in the lower back, stable and deep. This exercise can be done with soft instrumental music or in silence. The key factors are rhythmic repetition, clear visualization, and sustained faith. It is not a matter of hoping it works, but of commanding it from the depths of your being. Glands do not think, but they listen. They are receptive structures designed to detect internal signals. You are the transmitter, and the quality of your signals determines the quality of your hormones, which in turn affects energy, mood, and responsiveness to life. In the next chapter, we will see how internal harmony extends to external prosperity. Health and abundance are not separate. They are two expressions of the same underlying vibration. You will learn how to tune your genetic field to the frequency of wealth, vitality, and full expression. Chapter 9, Spiritual Genetics of Physical Prosperity. The idea that health and wealth are separate belongs to the old dualistic paradigm, which divides body from soul, matter from spirit, and the physical from the mental. Spiritual truth, confirmed through experience and evidence, shows that health and wealth are interconnected, distinct expressions of a single underlying vibration. A mind attuned to abundance naturally manifests a vital, energetic body. Similarly, a healthy body radiates energy that attracts financial stability, harmonious relationships, and a life of growth. This unity is explained by the principle of correspondence, as within, so without. This is not a metaphor but a universal law. Every thought emits a frequency that influences your biology. In turn, your biology, through its vibrational tone, sends signals to the environment, shaping opportunities, resources, and outcomes. Studies of longevity in post-World War II communities revealed a consistent pattern illustrating this principle. Populations with a stronger sense of personal well-being not only enjoyed better physical health, but also experienced greater material prosperity. This was not coincidental. Both outcomes were expressions of the same internal state. In The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, 1963, I demonstrated how mental images held with faith can become real. In this chapter, we go further. Your DNA itself contains latent codes for prosperity that can be activated through focused thought. Genetics, while influenced by inheritance, is dynamic, alive, and responsive to the vibrational information it receives from your mind, environment, and beliefs. When your thoughts focus on lack, they trigger biochemical signals that reduce certain neurotransmitters, weaken immune function, and disrupt endocrine balance. Conversely, focusing on fullness, gratitude, and expansion activates metabolic pathways that support regeneration, optimal nutrient absorption, and favorable gene expression. This is not theory. It is a scientifically observable principle, a practical law of vibrational influence connecting mind, body, and the external world. This is epigenetics in action. The mind does not change the sequence of your DNA, but it determines which genes are expressed and which remain dormant. Just as you can awaken genes that support health, you can also activate genes that promote prosperity. True abundance does not come from outside. It arises from within. It is a form of energy that, when cultivated internally, expresses outwardly as opportunities, connections, resources, and even financial gain. Jesus illustrated this principle in the parable of the talents, Matthew 25-14. The servant who multiplies what he receives is blessed with more, while the one who buries his talent out of fear or misplaced humility loses even what he had. This story is not just about money, it is about vibration. The talent represents your innate capacity to create, expand, and manifest. Suppressing or denying it prevents growth and misaligns you with the universal law of expansion. Similarly, the barren fig tree that bears no fruit, Matthew 21:19, is not cursed by divine punishment, but by nature itself, which does not support internal sterility. A body lacking vitality and a bank account, lacking abundance, often stem from the same blockage, a mind that has stopped receiving, expressing gratitude, and radiating energy. It is essential, then, to think in terms of the spiritual genetics of physical prosperity. Each cell contains a vibrational archive that can be activated through deliberate words, mental images, and focused emotion. Desire alone is not enough. You must declare. Imagination alone is not enough. You must decree. Here are a series of affirmations designed to cultivate health, vitality, and abundance. Cellular nutrition affirmation. Every cell in my body receives exactly what it needs. I absorb all nutrients with divine intelligence. My digestion, blood, and tissues function in perfect harmony. Pranic energy affirmation. I am energy in motion. Each breath charges me with vitality. I radiate strength. I receive strength. I am strength. Physical prosperity affirmation. Spiritual abundance flows through my veins. Wealth is my natural state. My glands, skin, and mind resonate with prosperity. Total abundance affirmation. I am surrounded by opportunities. Life supports me with generosity. Everything I need comes to me effortlessly and without delay. These affirmations should be spoken clearly, with inward focus and elevated emotion. You may enhance them with gentle movement, conscious breathing, or music tuned to 432 Hz to support cellular resonance. For example, an elderly woman with limited resources and declining health practiced these affirmations daily for 40 days. She did not change her diet or environment, but transformed her inner vibration. Within weeks, she began receiving unexpected calls, invitations, and assistance. Her health improved, her skin rejuvenated, and her financial situation began to stabilize naturally. This demonstrates that when the internal field shifts, external circumstances follow. Prosperity is not a one-time event, it is a frequency. And that frequency is not external, it is embedded in your spiritual DNA, awaiting conscious activation. In the final chapter, we will integrate these teachings into a practical daily liturgy, a structured routine to maintain continuous dialogue with your cells, organs, energy, and destiny. Chapter 10. Personal liturgy of daily renewal. Every true transformation requires a method, a concrete practice to translate spiritual insight into physical reality, mental clarity into cellular action, and invisible intention into tangible results. The human body is rhythmic. The heart beats in cycles. The lungs follow a pattern. Hormones are secreted in phases. Similarly, an aligned mind can act as the conductor of this internal orchestra. Thinking positively once or praying occasionally is not enough. Repetition imprints and consistency rewrites. That is why the personal liturgy proposed here is not a collection of tips. It is a disciplined, sacred practice designed to be applied throughout the day, every day, in all circumstances. I call it a liturgy, not for religious reasons, but because of its structured and sacred order. Just as Ernest Holmes's scientific prayer follows recognition, unification, declaration, acceptance, and gratitude, we will apply the same principle to biological regeneration. The practice is divided into 3 phases: a morning routine, an evening practice, and a crisis protocol. Together, they form a spiritual triad that stabilizes the mind, organizes physiology, and seals the day in high vibration. Morning routine igniting the system upon waking, the mind is highly receptive. Brain waves are near the alpha threshold, and the body is ready for instructions. Begin by avoiding distractions. Do not check your phone or read the news. Focus on your body as a farmer inspects the field. Step 1. Activation breathing. 3 minutes practice box breathing. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. Do this silently, with eyes closed. This stabilizes the autonomic nervous system. Step 2. Vitalization affirmations. 5 minutes, select 3 affirmations aligned with your needs for the day. For example, my lungs absorb light and oxygen with divine perfection. Every cell of my skin radiates health and beauty. Today I embody order, joy, and regeneration. Repeat each affirmation 10 times with steady rhythm. Step 3. Visualization of the day. 2 minutes, visualize your day unfolding with clarity, balance, and high energy. See yourself navigating challenges with ease and manifesting opportunities aligned with your highest potential. Evening practice, Fey Seal of rest. Imagine your body as a city awakening at night. Each organ is a street, each cell a light turning on. Visualize order, movement, cleansing, and vitality. At the end of the day, the body requires release, and the mind must clear residual tension. Physiology begins its repair phase. This is not a time for activation, but for surrender. Step 1. Body scan. 5 minutes, lie down or sit comfortably. Mentally scan your body from feet to head, giving gratitude to each part. Do not analyze. Simply observe and acknowledge each part of your body with appreciation. Step 2. Prayer of release. 3 minutes example. All that I do not need dissolves. All that I have experienced finds its place. I rest in the intelligence of my body. Step 3. Night programming. 2 minutes, choose a key affirmation and repeat it softly as you fall asleep. For example, during the night, every cell receives the divine instruction for total repair. You may record your voice and play it quietly. Remember, the subconscious never sleeps. Crisis protocol. Fey reorienting amid the storm during pain, fear, acute illness, or emotional turmoil. An emergency formula is essential. Avoid improvisation. Have it written, memorized, and ready. Step 1. Physical stop. 1 minute, sit if possible, or pause. Place 1 hand on your heart. Step 2. Core affirmation. 2 minutes. Use a short phrase with high vibrational impact. Example, I am center. I am clarity. I am strength. Repeat in rhythm with your breath. If needed, write it down 3 times by hand. Step 3. Visual refocus. 2 minutes, close your eyes and visualize a golden spiral spinning clockwise from your chest. Do not resist symptoms. Direct their transformation and create your own formulas. Learn to craft personalized affirmations for your organs, cells, and patterns. Avoid copying phrases without internalizing them. Your subconscious responds best to familiar language and clear imagery. The ideal formula has 3 qualities. 1. Affirmative present tense. Avoid future or conditional forms. Incorrect, I will heal. Correct, I am being healed right now. 2. High vibrational tone. Use words of life, not struggle. Incorrect, I no longer have pain. Correct, I feel relief and freedom throughout my body. 3. Symbolic imagery. Integrate sensory metaphors. Example, each cell is a spark igniting my inner vitality. Physiological gratitude. Fey journaling. Record your daily practice to deepen your connection with your body. Note affirmations, physical changes, energy levels, digestion, mood, and thoughts during practice. Express gratitude for any part of your body. 2 to 3 lines per night are sufficient. Over time, patterns, insights, and evidence of transformation emerge. Writing materializes consciousness. Remember the Pauline guidance, pray without ceasing, 1 Thessalonians 5:17. This does not mean endless recitation, but living in a constant state of prayer, connection, guidance, and elevated vibration. Do not separate mind from body, word from organ. In every inhale there is prayer, in every cell a temple. This liturgy is not a burden. It is an art, the most direct and effective way to embody spirituality. You are not here to suffer the body, but to use it as an instrument of revelation. Now that you know your body's secret language, use it. Command from faith, affirm from vision, declare from love. Each day, your body will become a visible expression of intelligence that was never asleep. It was only waiting for your call. This volume concludes here, but your practice is only beginning.